Hey guys, it's Kathleen, and yes, it's been a million years since you last saw me, but today I'm coming at you with a classic book unhaul video. So just as a quick note for anyone who's wondering, my extended absence was essentially due to school. I've had no time to film videos due to exams, due to a lot of projects, and due to just dealing with hard classes that I hadn't dealt with previously. There's a lot going on this semester in my personal life as well, so I've been dealing with that too. So that's been fun. It's also really hard to film most of the time because like sunlight was just not a thing through most of the year. But now it's, light later, so I should have more time now, so I will be around more often. But anywho, I really need to unhaul some books because they've been taking up space on my shelves, and I've actually realized recently that I don't have the space anymore. I cleaned my room recently entirely, and before that it had books like on my dresser, on my desk. They weren't even on the shelf, and now that I've actually organized everything and put it where it's supposed to be, I don't have enough room to keep books I don't want anymore. So without further ado, let's just talk about the books that I'm going to be unhauling today. Quick note, if you love this book and I'm getting rid of it, it doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't even usually mean I disliked it entirely. Sometimes it does, but it could be a great book. I may just not think I'm gonna read it, may not have time, maybe something I wasn't that fond of, but it's not a personal attack on anybody. So the first book I'm going to be unhauling today is the fourth book in the All the Wrong Questions series by Lemony Snicket. This is called Why Is This Night Different from All Other Nights? This I actually bought because I thought it was the first book, and I was really confused when I saw it and I realized, oh, that has like a 4 on it, which I thought, oh, okay, this is not book number 1, I guess. So I remember I borrowed book number 1 from work, and I didn't really like it very much. I was reading it and I was thinking it was going to be like a series of unfortunate events and was going to be like the same series I loved, but it really wasn't like that at all. It was totally different. I'm sure I'd like it if I kept going, but like I'm just not going to get back to them anytime soon, so I really see no point in just having the 4th one on my shelf when I'm never going to read it. I'm probably just going to donate this. I really have no purpose for it in my life anymore. Yeah. Anywho, if this series does get good though, and I should keep reading it, tell me, because maybe I will. Who knows? Even though Daniel Handler kind of sucks, but whatever. Anywho, these next couple of books I'm just going to talk about real quick because I'm not unhauling these for reasons of I didn't like them or I think they're bad. I just don't have room for them in my life. A few of these are the first 4 Anne of Green Gables books, which, as you know, are my favorite book series. You know me well, you probably know I actually collect copies of Anne of Green Gables. So you may think, oh, Kathleen, why are you getting rid of those books? Well, I have a valid reason. So essentially, I have to get rid of these ones because I already own several different versions of these. Like, I have this exact same version, like the collector's edition set, and my mom just brings me home random ones that people donate to the library because she works there and they don't always take every copy, and so I ended up with a bunch more of these and I have no room for them in my life, so I'm going to unhaul those. As well, I'm also unhauling 2 Jodi Picoult books that have been sitting on my shelf for just the longest time, and I'm not as into Jodi Picoult as I used to be. I like her newer stuff. I don't really care for her older stuff as much anymore, and these are ancient. Like, these are from the library originally. So this is Second Glance, and then this other one here is The 10th Circle. I've heard these are fine, like they're good, but I just don't feel like reading them, so I'm just gonna get rid of both of them and like seriously look at them. Like, they're in awful condition. I don't think anyone's even gonna want these, quite frankly. Next, I'm unhauling The Midwife of Venice by Roberta Rich. This is a book I heard about actually originally from a customer because they were looking for it and they were saying how great it was and how good it was supposed to be, and I was like, okay. I didn't think anything of it until I randomly found it on my shelves and I was like, I don't know why that's there. And I remember I thought about unhauling it last year when I last did an unhaul video, and I thought to myself, no, if it's so good you might read it eventually, but I honestly don't think I will. I rarely pick up historical fiction, so I just don't think this is going to be my jam. I'm sure it's an amazing book, I just don't think it's something I'm going to read anytime soon, and so I really have no reason to keep it around. And so then we have some excess books that are just hanging out. We have a copy of The Hostel Hospital in the series of Unfortunate Events series. I have another copy of this, so that's why I'm getting rid of this one. And then we have another beat up copy of Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows. This was possibly the first one my family owned. I have a couple copies of this, one of this version and then one, I think, yeah, I have one of the adult cover and then one of this cover, so I don't need a third one. I don't even know why it was here, so I am putting this somewhere else, possibly just in our family room. And then I have a school book I'm finally deciding to unhaul. I thought I might keep it around in case I want to read it, but this is Immediate Fiction. This is by Jodi Cleaver, and I bought this originally for my creative writing class because it was required. I never opened it, have never read it, and I thought to myself, okay, you might read it eventually though, like it's a creative writing book, maybe it'll be helpful someday, and honestly, just no. I don't care. I don't want to read this, so I am getting rid of it. And then I have an arc I'm getting rid of. I have a couple arcs actually that are going to be here. This is The Traitor's Kiss by Aaron Beattie. This is supposedly like a Pride and Prejudice retelling with espionage. It was not really very Pride and Prejudice, and the espionage was stupid. I read like, I think 5 chapters of this, and I was like, this is dumb. It's all about this girl who doesn't want to get married and looks down on people who totally do want to get married and who are like typical girls, and then she joins like some rebellious thing or something. I don't think she pretends to be a man. It's kind of like Mulan inspired. I think Mulan inspired. But the other issue with this is that this doesn't feature any Chinese characters. It's about this white girl, which is strange for something that's Mulan inspired, I'm pretty sure. Anywho, I also didn't like the writing in this, so I'm just getting rid of it because it's not good, and I'm sorry. It's one of the few arcs I didn't finish. I rarely don't finish my arcs, but this just sucked, so I can't finish it. I'm sorry. And then another arc I am getting rid of is All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater. I actually have no hard feelings for this book. I did enjoy it. I know a lot of people had a lot of concerns about cultural appropriation, which I totally understand. It was fine. I give it 4 stars. I just don't see myself ever going back to it, and so I don't really see why I would keep it around. I do have some friends who would probably like to read this, so I would probably pass it on to them, but I just personally don't need it in my life, and I don't see any point in keeping books that I just thought were pretty good and that I don't really want around anymore. And what may be the most controversial book in this unhauling, we have The Female of the Species by Mandy McGuinness. So this book, I read this book, I think, when did I read this? In February. And I'd had it for about 1.5 years since then, and I was convinced I was going to love this book. And I really, truly thought to myself, you are going to love this book, Kathleen. It's going to be amazing, it's going to change your life, and it did not. So if you don't know what this book is about, it's about this girl named Alex Kraft, who years ago, she killed the man who killed her sister, and she got away with it. No one ever found out she did it, but she's also very withdrawn from people and feels like she has this darkness inside of her that other people don't know about, and she doesn't know how to relate to other teenagers. However, she starts volunteering at an animal shelter with a girl named PK, who becomes her friend, and then a boy named Jake starts to like her, and so kind of complicated stuff. It's a lot about rape culture and about assault and about like justice, kind of. Something about the story just did not click with me. I didn't really like the characters very much. I wasn't that fond of the writing style. It's not a bad book by any means, and I did like the ending. I know a lot of people don't like the ending of this book, but I did. But there's just something about this book that doesn't sit right with me. I'm not sure really what it is, but it's taking up space in my life and I don't need it, so it's going bye-bye. And then this is the book I got forever ago. I don't think I'm ever going to read it, to be honest, so I'm getting rid of it. It's Ratburger by David Walliams. It's a middle grade book. I don't even know what this is about, but I just know I'm not going to read it, so I am getting rid of it. And then this may actually be the most controversial book in this unhaul. Pretty sure it might be. It's A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. So I bought this 2 years ago because I have a friend who is obsessed with this series. And I know the whole world is obsessed with this series, but I just don't think I'm going to like it. I've never read it. I haven't tried it. Like, maybe I should give it a chance theoretically. But I look at it and nothing pulls me towards it. Nothing makes me think I want to read you, you know? And when I look at this book, I'm like, it's not for me. I feel like it's not for me. I also don't really like gratuitous sex scenes in books, and I feel like this has that quite a bit. So I don't think it would be for me on that level either. It's just not one of those books that I really, like, I don't know why I bought this, to be honest. Like, I just bought it because of the hype, essentially. And honestly, don't buy books just because of hype. Like, it's not worth it. So I think after all this time, I'm finally gonna say goodbye to this book. If you really think I should keep it, tell me, but I feel like I shouldn't keep it. I have a couple school books in here too that I'm just getting rid of. I thought I wanted to keep them just kind of for memory's sake, but I don't know why they're still here, honestly. One of these is Purgatory by Dante. I don't know how I ended up with this. I think it might have been the version my sister used when she took the program I took in first year, but they actually don't use these anymore. They use a complete one. Like, it's like with Inferno, Purgatory, and Paradise all in one, so I don't know why I would use this, to be honest. I have nothing I can do with it. I can't sell it because they're not using it anymore, so that's getting donated. And then I have the Double Hook by Sheila Watson. This is one of those books that actually my teacher, when she was talking about it in class, she said, oh, was this a hard book for you guys? Because it's really hard. You know what? Let me show you how hard this is. Let me describe how this is written. Okay. So first, look at it. It's not written like normally. It's written like poetry almost. And then, in the folds of the hills, under Coyote's eye, lived the old lady, mother of William, of James and of Greta, lived James and Greta, lived William and Era his wife, lived the widow Wagner, the widow's girl Wenchin, the widow's boy, lived Felix Prosper and Angel, lived Theophil and Kip, until one morning in July, Greta was at the stove, turning hotcakes, reaching for the coffee beans, grinding away James's voice. James was at the top of the stairs, his hand half raised, his voice in the rafters. I think you get the point. Anywho, so my teacher was sitting at the front of the class and she said, was this a hard book for you guys? And everybody raised their hand and said, yes, of course it's a hard book. It's super dense and super weird. But the second question she asked was, did that make you like it more? And most of the class raised their hand and I did not. And my teacher said, modernists. And I realized in that moment, I was not one. I didn't like this book just because it was difficult. I actually enjoyed it less because it was difficult. I didn't get the point. I know some books exist essentially just to be studied, and it turns out I don't always like those books. So I feel no purpose in having it in my life, so I'm getting rid of it. Alright, I feel like this video is getting long, so I'm just gonna rush through these. So we have Zero Repeat Forever by C.G. Pendergrast. This is a book that if you have watched my videos a while, you may know. I don't know how this came into my life. I really don't know. I did not buy it. It's an ARC. I don't remember requesting it. I don't know who sent it to me. I'm a little confused by it, and I really don't want to read it, so I'm getting rid of it. And then we have this book called The Cage by Megan Shepherd. I don't even know what this is about. This is literally a book that I think my mom's friend gave to me at one point because she was moving and she had a bunch of books to get rid of, but I don't care. Like, it has kind of a weird cover. It's not the kind of cover that really attracts me, you know? So I'm not into it. I'm gonna pass on it, honestly. Yeah. If you think this is great, tell me, but I don't know. I have no reason to want to read it. And then, okay, this one will surprise some people too, but I'm getting rid of Love, Hate, and Other Filters by Samir Ahmed. This is my ARC version, and I no longer want it in my life. This is a 3-star book for me. I thought it was fine. I'm not against it by any means. No vendetta, but like, it's just not for me, really. Like, I don't love this book, so I don't know why I'd want to keep it around. So I'm gonna give it to somebody I think who will enjoy it a lot more and get more out of it. And then we have Chasing Vermeer by Blue Ballier. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, I think it is. But anywho, this is a book that's been on my shelf for literally years, since I was a child. It's one of those books my sister read and my mom read them, or told me to read them anyway, and she thought they would be great, and it's one of those books I always thought maybe I will read that eventually, and I just never did. It's one of those middle grade books that was big when I was a kid, and I don't even know what it's about, honestly, so I will probably never read it, and that's why I'm getting rid of it. Then we have Sea of Shadows by Kelly Armstrong. I've never read a Kelly Armstrong book. I know she writes like horror type books, and those aren't really my thing. I don't like horror at all, so I don't need this. I don't see the point in my having it. I'm getting rid of it. I know Kelly Armstrong's pretty popular among some people. She has some really devoted fans, so not to insult you Kelly Armstrong fans, but I just don't see the point in this being on my shelf when I'm probably never gonna get to it. Like, nothing about it appeals to me. I don't even know what this is about, but yeah, no. Ashton closed her eyes and reached out to the spirits. After a moment, she could feel them pulling at the edge of her consciousness. No, not that supernatural stuff, so I'm gonna take a pass on this one. And then finally, I have an ARC that I'm going to donate. This is Something Like Happy by Eva Woods. I read this way back in November, and this is just the most like cliche story of all time. It was a 3-star read for me. It was basically in Me Before You ripoff, but like with friendship. The love interest was boring, didn't like him. The plot was boring, didn't really care. I wasn't even that sad when the sad thing happened at the end, so I don't know why I kept this around for so long, but I'm gonna see if anyone else I know will want this. Maybe one of my most friends, who knows. And then I have a book I literally just decided to unhaul now because I realized I'm not gonna read it, and that is the book 1,000 Pieces of You by Claudia Gray. If you may recall, if you've been watching me for like a year, I did a book like TBR shelf video where I did mention this book and I called it The Cover of My Dreams, and it is the cover of my dreams. This is a beautiful, beautiful cover and I love it. I love it with all my heart, but like I don't want it in my life. I've never heard anything good about this series, to be quite honest, so I don't know why I would bother with it. It's fine. I hear it's very romance heavy, and like loving a cover, in my opinion, shouldn't be why you keep a book around. So yeah, I'm gonna say goodbye to it very sadly. Goodbye, book. So very sadly, those are all the books I'm saying goodbye to today. I'm sorry, books. I'm sure that you are the right books for somebody, but you are not the right books for me. And that is fine, because no one's going to love every single book they ever read. Anywho, let me know what you guys think of some of these books. If you enjoyed them, if you have unhauled them, if you've hauled them and you like them, I would like to know. As well, I'd also like to know if you don't like these books, then let me know, make me feel justified in my decision. Also, please let me know if you think I should keep Corner of Thorns and Roses, because like if everybody says no, Kathleen, keep it, I might, and I'll just like skip over the sex scenes or something, like I don't know, maybe, but like I don't think I want to read it, but let me know if you really, really think I should. But regardless, that is the end of this video. If you did enjoy it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe on your way out if you're new here. I upload videos every Tuesday and Friday, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss them. As well, if you'd like to follow me on any of my social medias, the links will all be in the description. But in the meantime, I will see you guys next time.